This is me absolutely shredded, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how I did it. Alrighty, so in this video, I'm gonna talk about how I got shredded for my first show and how I plan on getting shredded again for my next show coming up this summer, and tell you some of the pros and cons about being lean, as well as go over my full game plan for this prep and how it's different from my first prep I ever did. So in the picture that you're seeing right now is me for my first show ever. And throughout the entire prep, I pretty much prepped myself. I peaked my own physique. I cut the whole way through, coached myself the entire way. The only thing I didn't do was go over posing. I actually had a coach for that. But other than that, nutrition, training, all of that was designed by yours truly. And getting lean really isn't like that difficult to do. It's a simple equation, right? Calories in versus calories out. If you eat in a calorie deficit every day, over time, your body's gonna burn fat. And it's really up to you as far as how far you wanna take that. For me, I was trying to get lean for my first ever show. So I was trying to take that as far as I could. Getting to essential levels of fat, unhealthy levels of fat. Looking amazing, but not necessarily feeling the best. And pretty much how I did that was lower my calories, increase my cardio, and weight trained 6 days a week. And that was it. I was in a big enough deficit long enough to burn off as much fat as possible and look absolutely peeled for my first show. Now, as far as like the details go, this is what I did. I started off at 2,500 calories, and I started off around 30 minutes of cardio, and I was doing that every day. And pretty much what I was gonna do is I was gonna keep my calories the same, 2,500 calories, and I was gonna increase my cardio by 5 minutes every single week leading up to my show. And the total amount of time I was on prep for was actually 13 weeks for my first ever show. And so by the end of it, I was doing like 70 to 75 minutes of cardio a day, but I did not stay at 2,500 calories. You see, as I was increasing cardio by 5 minutes each week, I was doing cardio pretty much every single day without any time off from cardio. I did take one rest day for training as far as the actual weights go, but cardio, I was doing that every single day. And so what happened is that I was basically in such a huge calorie deficit that my calories at 2,500 was too low. By the end of that prep for my first show, I was eating like 2,800 calories by the end of it, but still keeping my cardio high. So when it comes to losing fat, there's two things you can do. You can either A, reduce the amount of calories that you're eating, or B, expend more calories, or C, some combination of both, which is usually the correct approach. You shouldn't necessarily completely starve yourself, and you shouldn't necessarily do a bunch of activity. The correct answer is somewhere in the middle, but when you're prepping for a show, everything's to the extreme, because you're trying to get extremely lean. You're trying to push the boundaries of how lean you should be to a point where it's unhealthy. And so next I'm gonna talk about the pros and cons when it comes to being that lean. When you're that lean, a pro is that you look phenomenal. You take your shirt off and people are staring. You're that lean. You have veins running up your stomach, separations in the muscle that you just didn't know that you had. And when you're working out, getting a pump, it's like, what am I looking at? And that's me like as a natural lifter. When someone's enhanced, it's like everything times 10. So that's one pro, is that you look amazing. Another one is that you're getting a lot of compliments. When you're that lean and people are telling you look amazing, granted, it is mainly from dudes in the gym, but it definitely feels good receiving that validation. You're putting all this hard work, you're dieting hard, you're doing cardio, and for no one to give you a compliment, you're like, what am I doing wrong? So that's another thing. You get a lot of compliments on how good you look, which is awesome and it feels amazing, which is awesome and that's amazing. However, the cons by far outweigh the pros. If I wasn't doing a show, I would never get that lean for any reason under any circumstance ever. And the reason why is when you're that lean, life is miserable. One, you're dieting extremely hard, doing a lot of cardio, so a lot of your time is dedicated towards like looking a certain way. There's no like work-life balance. It's just like all work. The next thing is that hormonally, you are thrown off completely. Sex drive is down, your sleep is off, you're having to use the bathroom every like 30 minutes. I'm a little bit more moody than I usually am. I'm a pretty happy guy most of the time, but the littlest things just kind of piss you off when you're that lean. And one of the worst things ever too is like energy levels is at an all-time low. You pretty much gather all the energy that you have for the day, put it into your workout, and that's it. You're pretty much like a zombie the rest of the time. When you're that lean, you can't even like think straight. And that is why I actually never recommend anybody trying to get that lean just to get that lean. If you're gonna get that lean, at least go step on stage, do a photo shoot, do it for something, because your life really just isn't that fun when you're that lean. It's fun as far as the process goes, like seeing yourself each week getting better and better and leaner. But when it comes to like trying to live a normal life and enjoy the fruits of your labor, it's not quite there. So that's kind of the story of how my first prep went. To kind of recap, 2,500 calories, and I just strictly increased cardio. I eventually had to increase my calories because my cardio was just so high and I was so lean that I had to give myself a little bit more food. and try and still be in a deficit, which was very much possible with how much cardio I was doing, which is completely different on how I'm gonna do things this year for this year's show. So right now I'm gonna throw up the notes on exactly what I'm gonna do. I kind of wrote it all down, pretty much weeks 1 through 16. So I'm gonna be doing a 16-week prep, and I'm gonna break down exactly the changes I'm gonna make going into this show. So this is my prep on how I'm gonna do things. This is what I believe is gonna work for me. I know my body, if you try and do this to get shredded, it might not be the same for you. So this is, again, completely customized for me. So every 2 weeks, I'm making an adjustment no matter what. Weeks 1 and 2, I'm gonna be eating 3,000 calories with 20 minutes of cardio. And before every workout, I'm doing a 15-minute warm-up. So all these cardio sessions that you see, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30, and so on, add 15 more minutes to it, because 15 minutes is gonna be like warm up before I go into the lift. So I'm eating 3,000 calories, 20 minutes of cardio, which is really 35 minutes of cardio total, but 20 minutes post-workout cardio. And that's very important too, because I never like to do my cardio sessions before I lift, even if it's like hours before I go into the gym to train. I just always prefer doing my cardio after my lifting session. I want to give all like the energy I have into like lifting, and the cardio is just a walk. So that it's almost like a cool down, if you will, but all my focus is really on the lift. And I always do cardio after I lift. That's just the way I've always done things. Some people like doing fasted cardio, and I am not a fan whatsoever. I prefer to do my cardio post-workout. But you know, when it comes to cardio sessions, do it where you feel is best for you. I know some people like to do it before. I'm a bigger fan by far of doing it after, and definitely not fasted. Weeks 2 through 4, I'm still eating 3,000 calories, and this time I'm increasing my cardio by 5 extra minutes. So I'm doing 25 minutes of cardio weeks 2 through 4. The first 4 weeks of prep are extremely easy. I'm kind of just easing my way into it. I'm just kind of getting my feet wet a little bit. I'm already quite lean, so I don't need to cut super hard, super quickly right off the bat. I'm just kind of getting my toes wet here. I'm not looking to get shredded in the first 4 weeks. I'm just trying to be in a calorie deficit, start leaning out a little bit. Because I maintain a pretty lean levels of body fat in the off season, I don't need to go crazy right off the bat. Weeks 4 through 6, my calories actually get reduced. So I'm eating 2,800 calories and still keeping my cardio the same. So 25 minutes, but again, it's a 15-minute warm up. So it's really like 40 minutes of cardio, 25 minutes post workout. Weeks 6 through 8, my calories are the same, except I'm increasing my cardio an extra 5 minutes. So 30 minutes of cardio post workout rather than 25. There's a bit of a pattern going on here. So every 2 weeks, I'm making an adjustment either to my cardio or to my calories. So after 2 weeks, my cardio gets increased. After the 4 weeks from the start of prep, my calories get reduced. And every 2 weeks, there's an adjustment being made. Weeks 8 through 10, my calories get reduced. Now I'm eating 2,600 calories with 30 minutes of cardio. Weeks 10 through 12, my calories are the same, except my cardio is increased. Weeks 12 through 14, my calories are reduced again to 2,400 calories and 35 minutes of cardio. This is going to be the lowest my calories get all prep, 2,400 calories. I really do not think I need to go any lower than 2,400 calories. That should be low enough calories for me going into the final weeks of my show, and especially going into peak week. At this point, I should be like single-digit body fat, looking extremely lean. Weeks 14 through 16, I'm doing 2,400 calories as well, and my cardio is at as high as at 40 minutes of cardio, plus a 15-minute warm-up. So it's a total of 55 minutes of cardio all the way until my show. Now, I should also mention that my calories on peak week are gonna be the same. It's gonna be 2,400 calories, except I'm going to be completely eliminating my carbs and substituting those calories for more protein and more fats. So that's the only thing that's different like throughout the entire prep, is that everything's pretty much the same except for peak week. That's when I completely like change things up to try and peak my physique to look its absolute best on show day. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, Joe, what are your macros? Now, if you guys have been watching my channel for any length of time and you've been here from my first prep series or my second prep series, you will know that I really don't care about macros. I will tell you my macros on a full day of eating because there are a lot of people out there that want to know what the macro split is. But personally, I don't really like track a macro split. I kind of just eat, make sure that I'm having enough protein in every single meal, and just worry about sticking with my calories. Calories in, calories out. At the end of the day, the only time I'm watching my macros is really on my peak week and my 1 day out. That's when they kind of matter the most. But other than that, for majority of like getting shredded, getting stage ready, you don't really need to, track your macros. Some people love doing that and they love being real meticulous about it, but I find it being a lot to track. And what happens if you hit your protein goal, by meal 4 and you have a whole nother meal 5 to go and it's just like carbs and fats that are left, or even like just fats left, like that's not necessary. You can basically, you know, manage your meals accordingly and just make sure you're hitting your calories. As long as I'm getting at least my body weight when it comes to protein and hitting my calories, that's all that I care about. Now I do eat more anabolic recipes when I'm on prep. So when I'm on prep, I probably have closer to like 200 grams of protein. That's just the way my day flows. The most important thing on prep is making sure I stay as full as I possibly can. So with every meal, I want to try and leave the meal satisfied. With the last 4 weeks of prep, that just happens automatically. Like you're just hungry all the time because you're so lean. So I'm not going to try and make myself more hungry all the weeks prior to that. I'm going to try and eat meals that I feel full, feel satiated, and I actually enjoy eating, because the most important thing that I like to try and stick by is to just not cheat on my plan. There's no reason for me to cheat. There's no reason for me to cheat while I'm doing this, especially if I actually enjoy the foods that I'm eating. And all the time I do. There's not one meal that I'm eating on prep that I don't enjoy. And that is really the secret when it comes to getting shredded and just losing fat overall. You have to find a meal plan and a plan that you love and enjoy and can stick with for the long haul, or else you're just gonna fall off the wagon, try and hop back on, fall off the wagon again, and just run in circles and not really make any progress. The key to making progress is to actually enjoy the process. Making this prep series is by far one of my favorite things to do on the channel, and I am looking forward to it completely. Now, I was going to do a show in May, but I might actually push it back and do it in July and do a completely different show, because there are certain pieces of content that I want to make on this channel that's going to be a little bit difficult to do while I'm prepping. So just to give myself extra time and make really good content, I'm going to be waiting a little bit before I actually start prep. And when I do go on prep, I plan on doing like a video every other day. So right now I'm posting 3 days a week, but when I go on prep, every other day, I'm going to be producing a video. That right there is how I got lean and how I plan to do it again. I hope you all enjoyed this video, a little bit more of an information style video. I'm wrapping it up here. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe if you guys are new. It's been your boy Joe. Peace.